In 2014, myself and a couple other extension educators in Nebraska were approached to work on a project that was to look at the food pantry system, one, to turn it into a My Choice model, and then also to make it healthier for clients that couldn't afford fresh produce. So when we started our community assessments, we just invited several community stakeholders, and we had 2 to 3 community conversations over the first couple years where we brought people in, sat them around the table, and just talked about what was going on in our community, what were the deficits, what were the needs, what could we do to address them. We assessed pantry clients. So we did 3 assessments, a pre, a midterm, and a post-assessment. We assessed community stakeholders, what their knowledge is of the food system, and then we also addressed food pantry staff.
For our pantry, we use the Voices for Food My Choice Pantry scorecard, and that gives us kind of opportunity to look at places for growth in the food pantry, and so we used that to kind of see what places that we could do some improvements.
A great thing to do is to survey what are we doing currently that is working for you and what else do you need. The need that we see is that there isn't consistent nutrition education. Just providing somebody something that you would want to eat isn't necessarily the best thing to do.
Feeding America is a really great resource for assessing your needs of your community, whether it be at your county or state level. It really gives you an idea of what the food insecurity is in those communities, and then from there you can kind of decide where to go next.
I assessed over 40 pantries in our community, and it's a lengthy assessment, but everyone was more than accommodating. And of a score of 133 as the max, we had about an average of 50 of those 40 pantries that we assessed. So we're less than 50% at hitting our mark. So there's work to be done. And the assessment looks at things like the availability of fresh fruits and vegetables, low-fat dairy, lean meats, whole grains. And it also looks at upholding the dignity of the human person. So with all of these assessments, then we're able to have a baseline. We developed an assessment by combining a couple of other extension programs tools. So we wanted to have both the nutrition aspects and the upholding the dignity of the human person. So we kind of combined some assessments and made it into one. And so that's what we used as our baseline measure for assessing progress with these food pantries.
We had a representative from Nebraska Extension come and do an assessment for us in our food pantry. We did not score so well, and so it really kind of jump-started my research into how we had the food pantry set up and how we could make it better. I was connected with a few other food pantries that had switched to that market model in Lincoln, and so I went on some site visits. I attended some conferences, and then I kind of came back. I looked at our own pantry and tried to think of different ways that we could make it better. And so that's when we decided to make the shift from the food pantry to the food market model.
They actually changed from a bag system where they were putting food in bags for clients, and they made it into a shopping experience. Now they call it a market, and the people that come through the pantry are shoppers. And it's just much more of a dignifying experience for everyone that is facing food insecurity in that moment so that we can create that culture shift.